What's up, guys? So, as you can maybe hear, I'm in a Gen 1 Raptor. We got an SVT Raptor here. I traded in the 3.5 EcoBoost, the 2021 Lariat. Traded it in for this, and got a very clean Gen 1 Raptor. 83,000 miles on it, one owner, extremely clean. You can see the back seats don't even look like they've been used. The interior is honestly flawless. I mean, you have no weird wear marks on anything except for this red stripe here, which is very common in these Raptors. It actually was happening on my 2017 as well. So as far as the door, like, no weird wear marks. The switches all look brand new. Everything looks like it's in great shape. You have, your switches here like the Gen 1s have here. The Gen 2s had them up here. A lot of different things, but the seats, I mean, and they're honestly kind of dirty right now because I have some of my clothes in them, but all of the seats are in great condition. The truck is flawless, even on the outside here. Of course, it's extremely dirty for you guys, but the truck is so clean as far as actual condition of the truck. Some open country ATs on here. Everything looks like it's in good shape. There is no rust on the vehicle. It's a Texas-owned truck, so there's no rust on the vehicle. Everything is in working order. Everything looks great. Looks like he's tapped a convenience store bar every now and again. There's no physical damage on the outside of this vehicle that I can see. There's probably some minor scratches and whatnot. It already has an exhaust. It's really windy today, so I'm gonna try to stay out of the wind. Already has an exhaust, obviously wheels and tires, a K&N intake, and this weird alarm system in there. Has some rigid lights, as you can see, all up under there. Got the beautiful 6.2 liter V8. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this thing is a absolute dog as far as power wise compared to what the 21 EcoBoost was. I mean, it's not even close. It has to be 200 torque off and probably 100 horsepower off my 21, especially with the JB4 on it. So it runs good. It's an extremely heavy vehicle, but what I do love about it is that I didn't think I would love about it actually was it's so heavy of a vehicle. The problem I had with the Gen 2 Raptors were, because the Raptor is so wide, I apologize for the wind, because the Raptors are so wide right here, you can see it kind of just hugs. This thing is an absolute brick wall going through the air at highway speeds, and so it already catches a lot of wind. But the Gen 2s had the EcoBoost in here that were a lot lighter, and every gust of wind would affect the vehicle a lot more. Like if you're driving down the road and the gust of wind is hitting you from this direction, every gust would kind of push you over. Where this thing is a lot more planted to the ground because it's so heavy, and I do actually like that. Basically just kind of bought it as a truck that I'm working out of. Had a couple things like this, emblem is off. I'm gonna have to get a new emblem, and then this little piece here was actually falling off, and I had to put some new self tappers in. And so it's definitely not perfect, but it's a 2011, 83,000 miles on it, and there's nothing wrong with the truck. Mechanically, it looks extremely clean. There's nothing more than random wear and tear. So extremely excited about this. I do want to replace the head unit in this thing just so I can have CarPlay. Once you have CarPlay, it's extremely hard to get rid of it, that luxury. The only thing I wish this thing did have was the camera on the front. That is one thing I've already been missing since I've gotten rid of my 21. you definitely see that, you know, has a bed cover, all the good stuff. It's a very solid truck. Everything looks very well taken care of. It's extremely dirty right now. Obviously, this is all dirt. It's not rust or anything like that. Everything looks good. Definitely a more, not clunky, but like a louder vehicle, right? Like all this is hard plastic instead of leather like the other one. And you know, the infotainment system here, shout out Zen. The infotainment system is extremely outdated. I'm having trouble with the Bluetooth connection on it already. So if I can swap this out with something that can do CarPlay, I'm going to. I love the big, like the huge Tesla screens that replaces all of this. But at the same time, I've actually been enjoying these buttons and stuff instead of it all being on like the screen. So this is actually kind of nice. I only have a problem really with this screen. If this screen could do CarPlay, it'd be so nice, because I can't even use like nav or my Bluetooth or anything yet, because for some reason I can't get it connected to the Bluetooth. So and then there's something, oh, and for some reason, I don't know if this is like a, you know, the Ford has like that My Key thing, like the primary key that you can adjust settings. I don't know if that's what this is, but for some reason my speed dial doesn't go below 10 miles an hour. So it's not, but it's basically acting like this is 0. So whenever I'm going 20 miles an hour and it shows 20, I'm actually going 10. And so same thing, if I'm going 60 and I'm actually going 50. So it's I try to do like the little engineering test mode thing that Ford you can do with the key that resets all the gauges, and it would reset all the gauges and like make sure they work. And this one never went below 10. It always, it hit it and like peg out. It's almost like this little needle is either like it skipped somehow on the thread, or I don't really know how this happens, but it's exactly 10 miles an hour off. So it just made me wonder if it's like the key setting or something that they did it to where like if a kid's drive, I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Other than that, the analog gauges, I actually really like them. They're pretty sweet, like just different than what I've had in a while. So it's I don't mind. Gas mileage is absolutely horrible. That's actually like the best that I've been getting in it, and it's 11.5. Obviously didn't buy this for the gas mileage, but overall it's extremely clean truck. Super excited about it. I think, you know, it misses like the obvious things. Like I said, the interior quality is not near as nice as the 21 was, but it is nice. Like, you know, the 6.2, this was the actual Raptor that I wanted. It was like my dream Raptor, a black Gen 1 four-door Raptor, right whenever they first came out back in 2011, 2010. I loved the Gen 1s. I bought a Gen 2 and I loved it too, but I never really like was attached to it. I actually love this truck, and the fact that I got such a clean one. I mean, even the driver's seat, like there's a little blemish here, and that's just strictly from just rubbing on it. It's not like any abuse. It's just the fact that this truck is 14 years old. So it's nice. There's no like weird noises coming from it. No check engine light. Everything works flawlessly. It sounds damn good. This 6.2, it's not very powerful, but man, it's a workhorse. It's a reliable motor. Got some burbles in there. Kind of hear like the sounds good, man. The 6.2 does sound good, and so it's a fun truck to drive. It's kind of one of those, you don't care about it being fast because it's a Raptor. Like, you can do so many other things that other cars can't do, and it still has plenty of power to cruise on the freeway or, you know, drive in town. Most of my stuff is city driving, so it is an extremely nice vehicle and plush vehicle. And I do like the way it sounds driving around town so much. The only thing, if I could take one thing from the 21s and put it in this truck and bring over into the Raptor with the 6.2, it would be the 10 speed. this 6-speed is great. It's honestly not near as bad as I thought it was going to be, like going back to a 6-speed, because it works well for this truck. But if this thing had a 10-speed on it, not only would it sound ridiculous ripping through gears, it would also be a lot more punchy, and you'd be able to stay in just a high RPM all the time where all the power is for this truck. Because the problem with this truck is it makes plenty of, I mean, I wouldn't say plenty, but it makes enough horsepower. It's the torque that it's lacking so much of. Like, it just doesn't have that punch of like the twin turbo trucks. And that's what, the punch is what makes you feel like your butt dyno, right? So it makes you feel the speed of the truck, and just kind of makes it feel a lot more powerful than it really is. Even like the 2.7 F-150s, they're torquey little trucks, so they feel quick even though they're not fast at all. They feel quick, and so they make them, it's enjoyable to drive them. Whereas this one, like, you can, I say that and someone pulls out right in front of me. With this one, I mean, it has to shift down, and it really wants to be above like 3,000 RPM to give you that feeling like it has a lot of power, right? Anything before that, now from a stoplight, it takes off and it rips, chirps into second gear, everything of that nature. But it's not a quick vehicle by any means. It has to be wrapping out. Like, even if it had an 8-speed, it would be so much faster, because whenever these things shift and they go all the way back to 3,000 RPM, it just feels like the longest gear ever to get back to where it's shifting. Whereas the 10-speed is, you know, it's like wah, 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 wah. Like, you're just sitting there just banging gears, and it just gives you an experience. Like, the truck feels faster, you get better gas mileage, it's always in the right gear. Whenever you're towing, you can literally manually change the gears and have way more selection of RPM and everything, and it just makes the truck more enjoyable to drive. As an SR10. So as you can see, the SRT10 truck is a lot faster than the 6.2. He definitely got a jump on me, but there was no way I was going to catch that dude. That's obviously a V10 Viper motor in a truck. And this is a 6.2 workhorse American V8. So intended for two different things here, but that was pretty funny. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't even realize that was SRT next to me whenever I was sitting there explaining that to you guys. Ended up having a phone call come in, so I had to cut that clip a little bit short. But overall, extremely excited with the Raptor. Cool little thing. You know, it's a little bit of a downgrade as far as how nice everything is, but it's a great work vehicle. I think this is going to be what's best for me to kind of work out of and have some fun with. A little bit more different content for the channel. A little bit different stuff. We got a lot of new builds going on right now. We're spray foaming some roofs. We got all sorts of craziness going on. So try to get some clips of all that stuff in there. If there's anything specific that you guys like with these, my eventual plan with this that I've always wanted, and I'm going to have to make it happen, is put a Roush blower on this thing. The Roush Raptors was like the dream thing when it came out for me. And I know the Roushes aren't as efficient as the Whipples, but I just want a Roush Raptor. That's just kind of where I'm at. I don't care. This thing's not meant to be a speed demon, but it would be sick having a supercharger on this thing and listen to it whine whenever you want to kind of get into it a little bit. And there's a guy here in town that can actually install them. So that's kind of the plans long term for this thing. I was going to order a set of headers and a tune for it, and then I realized it only adds like 30 horsepower, and for $2,000, I don't think that's worth it. So some headers are actually like $2,400 just for the headers. So definitely not worth the power for that. It already has like an intake and exhaust on it, wheels and tires, bed cover, has all like the cosmetic stuff I would want. I think a new head unit would be nice, but it's not dire. This thing is fine. It's just not what I was used to. Got spoiled with the Apple CarPlay and the big screens on the F-150s. But yeah, my boys love it. It's extremely loud, so my boys like this better than my old truck, which is silver lining, I guess. Makes me feel a little bit better about it. But if you guys want to see anything specific or there's really not hardly any videos on the 6.2 Raptors that are like specific to one thing. I was even trying to find tune videos, like dyno videos. There wasn't hardly shit. Like, I was looking all over the place. Even supercharger stuff. Like, if you want to try to install the Roush supercharger on here, good luck. You got to find a video that American Racing or whatever is putting it on. Like, there's no info on these, and I think it's because they came out before YouTube and like people documented things so well. So the crowd that owns these Gen 1 Raptors are like older guys. Like, even the Facebook group is way different. Like, the Gen 2 Raptors, everyone's about modding them and big turbos and fuel pumps and tune and E85 and all this crazy stuff. And all the Gen 1s, guys just want to go crazy with the suspension and go off-roading with it. And half of them are still bone stock like 10 years later. So it's a different platform to where there's still obviously a ton of aftermarket support for this, but for performance wise, there's just limited to this unless you do a supercharger, blower, whatever. There's actually some twin turbo ones, but I want a Roush supercharged Raptor. So that'll be the long-term future. As soon as we move houses and stuff like that, it'll be something cool to do with the channel. But yeah, if there's anything specific that you guys want a video of on this Raptor, I would love to make it for you guys. Just let me know. There's not a huge selection on YouTube, so I think there's an opportunity here to kind of showcase some information on this truck. But like always, if there's anything, leave it in the comments. Like and follow. The likes help a lot. Really helps kind of keep the watch hours and everything up on the videos, showing that it's getting a lot of traction. So appreciate you guys. See you next time.